Can everyone hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Oh, I can hear you.
Lovely. Absolutely stunning. Alrighty, guys. So today I'm just going to fix up my screen. 2 seconds. I apologize. Today I'm going to be running through the Airtables for sale by owner, rent by owner. So these are all of the leads that Oxbridge gets in. So basically, Paul has a patent. For any of you who don't know what a patent is, it is a legal protection on a technology, a process, or a software. Many large online companies have patents, as do large technology companies such as Snapchat, Facebook, even Apple. So I'm on the OzPat website just to show you. These are our patents. If we come into OzPat, you can actually have a search and see all of the different patents that are owned by different companies. So for example, say you want to have a look at the, Snapchat doesn't have one apparently, but about Apple. See, Apple own a number of different patents. So today I'm going to be showing you what Oxbridge owns. We have 2 patents here. The one down the bottom is a patent that basically scrapes websites where owners are trying to sell or rent their own properties. And the second one is the 7 Gs. So I'll take you guys all through the first one first, which is the, basically for sale by owner, for rent by owner, all the rest of it. We have a software called Airtable that we use. So this puts all of our lead generation in one place. If you're looking to access this, you can always contact support for access. You have to access each table individually. So first up, I'm going to take us through for sale by owner. The for sale by owner ones are really, really straightforward. You come in and once it loads, for mine, there's a lot of leads on here, so sometimes it is a little bit slow.
Do you select the state first? Sorry, or do you have to just go in at?
Yeah, so you definitely can filter. I'm just going to.
You know that last screen you had up? I've clicked on that and nothing sort of happens.
The last screen I had up, so the Airtable.
Yeah, showing the patents. I clicked on those, but we've got to go to Airtable, do we?
Yeah. So Airtable is where we keep all of this information.
Okay.
The patents, OzPat basically just tells you about what the patents are, as well as it's a website that allows you to put in like an application to then use that software.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So like our softwares, our patents are legally protected, and if anyone else wanted to use them, they would have to apply through Paul to actually gain access to use them.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you go? I do apologize, it is a little bit slow today. Alrighty. So this one is no agent property. What you can do once you get into the Airtables is you can actually search up certain suburbs, zip codes, or a state. So say we're in Queensland, we want to look at listings in Queensland. We can put in QLD. And it will, this one here is just searching for all of the results for us. So it looks like there's a whole heap in Queensland.
Sorry, just as a matter of interest, I've been on some of those private selling platforms, and I was thinking that I was actually ringing the actual owner of the property, and it was actually through an agency that does this for private sellers. You know, they obviously take a very much reduced commission and things, but I was actually ringing, and then after I checked about 3 or 4 properties, it had the same agent's phone number. So there are some of these platforms that, even though they're sort of calling themselves like private sellers or for sale by owners, it's actually through an agent.
Yeah.
So are these that you've got that you're putting up, are these the ones that are purely where the contact is the owner of the property, is it?
Yep. So you'll see in here, we do have a few spreadsheets that is similar to what you're talking about, where we've gone and scraped those sites and it's just come back with all of the same number. This one here, you can see that it's all different numbers for each listing, which means that these are the actual owners.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I embarrassed myself a bit. I launched into my spiel, and it was an agent.
Yeah. So yeah, number one thing you want to do is make sure you're not calling the agency on those websites, because they actually have a rule that, you know, you're not allowed to call them.
Yeah, he wasn't very friendly, let's say.
Yeah, no. Okay, so here, if we come and we look at the actual for sale by owner page, you can see that the number for every single one of these is the same, which means that's going through the agency. So you don't want to call any of those. But no agent property, that has all of the actual owners on it. So the pattern, it's not perfect, but it definitely can help. You just have to know what you're looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're all good. So the for sale by owner, the for rent by owner, flatmates, all the rest of it, it's really, really straightforward. Basically, you can put in the suburb that you're after or a state. So say I want Queensland. We've got a couple here. There's a house for sale in Queensland. And then you've got your contact number there. So basically all you want to do is give them a call, have a chat. You've got the actual website here. You can expand these. Being a bit slow today.
So you filtered it with just Queensland, but it's still got some other, is that just because it's slow at the moment, or?
No. So I've put Queensland in as like a find all of the Queensland. So they will just pop up in orange.
Oh, they come up in the, oh, I see. Yep.
I believe there is a way that we can filter it so only the Queensland ones pop up, but I just can't remember how to do it. I know that Paul has shown me previously how to do it.
Oh, that's okay. If it highlights it, it's easy to follow. Yeah.
Yeah. So it will highlight it. And what you can do is you can expand these, and it will just give you more details about what's going on here in this spreadsheet.
And is it just a matter of emailing support for access to Eagle?
To Airtable. Yep.
Sorry, sorry, this is Airtable. I'm sorry. Yeah, just email. Yeah.
Yeah. The associates don't have access to Airtable. It's just the full members.
All right.
Yeah.
So when we join as a full member, if I want to do that, does my original email / username and my password, does that stay valid, or do I get reissued with all that? Or
I'm not too sure how Paul is working it at the moment. I think they're trying to keep it the same for the time being, just because it's just easier than having to, you know, like change everyone's email and everything. So I assume for the time being, because I know that we had this conversation last year. Obviously, each time you create a new email, we have to create like a new domain and everything for it to go to. It is a very long process. So I believe now they're keeping it as just all the same when you upgrade. Obviously, you get the different perks of upgrading, such as full access to stuff like the CRM, all of these Airtable leads as well. There's a bunch of other things like, for example, you get priority when looking at joining projects and stuff like that.
You get what? Sorry, with projects? Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, so you get like we prioritize full agents for listings on projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's all right.
Okay, just a quick question.
Yeah.
How often do these leads get refreshed, or how old are these leads?
I think these all get refreshed every week on a Thursday.
And as soon as a house is put on sale, the lead disappears from here, or it continues to be there until, you know, I don't know when.
It will continue to be there until obviously the website fully updates and removes the listing. So all of the information that we get on these websites is based on what is currently on the website. So if you go onto the For Sale by Owner website and you have a look at the listing will still be active while it's under contract until it's sold and the actual listing is removed from the website.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
We have actually tried to access Airtable, and we have requested support a few times, but I haven't really got the access yet. Is there an escalation, or is it just support? You have to keep trying. You know, is there someone else we can write to? Because we have tried a few times and we haven't still got the access.
It's just support. If you're having trouble, I would recommend going through Paul as well. I think support and Paul are the only two that can give access at this point in time.
Thank you.
All good.
I've stopped video. This is how to use Airtable to get all the leads.
Okay, all right, moving on. So this one here is a private house for sale by owner in Kogan, Queensland. They've got all of the relative details, contact details, price, the relative features of the house. So the main purpose of this one here is just for those contact details, so you can give the person a call if they're interested in selling, etc. I'll take you guys through the. I'll show you guys the.
Hey, just one more question. How, let's say I re-request today, do you have some sort of a turnaround time? When do they actually grant access? Is it something that's done instantly, or I understand now, since it hasn't happened a few times, I have to include Paul in the email, but usually, generally, is it given straight away, or how long does it take?
I think you're usually looking at a 24 to 48 hour turnaround. Just depends on how busy support is, and it depends on when you send that ticket.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
That's all good. Alrighty. Back to Airtables. So we've got Gumtree in here as well. So Gumtree is a big one where people will try to list their properties for sale. Again, it's all pretty much the same as for sale by owner, but unlike for sale by owner, Gumtree is just simply Gumtree. So they will have all of the direct contact numbers for the vendors. So for example, so Gumtree also has rentals on here as well. So it just really depends on whether you're, looking for sales or if you're looking for property management, because obviously property management is a good way to go from here as well. Obviously, like a good spiel for property management is, hey, look, like I see that you're trying to rent your property out by yourself, but did you know for $20 a week, we could be doing it for you. On top of that, you'll be insured, because what happens if you're trying to rent it out by yourself and you don't, your tenants end up trashing the place? Well, what insurance do you have then? There's a whole heap of ways that you can sell yourself, the company. So as you can see here again, there's a whole heap of listings for various places. Like I said, you can filter by the state, you can filter by suburb, whatever your heart so desires. And you can also expand. So say you're wanting to look at this Hillview Avenue, we expand it, we have a look at who's posted it. And you can actually go on to the, these ones don't have the numbers though. And you can see when they were last updated as well on here. So 9 hours ago, 8 hours ago, etc. I'm just trying to find where the website is for these ones. Okay. I do apologize, I can't find the website for these ones. But the best use for Airtables, I think the one that like excites me the most would have to be our patent that scrapes the council DAs. So the for sale by owner, the front by owner, they're all well and good. Obviously, sometimes you have a look and people just aren't interested in selling their properties. But when we have access to stuff such as the DAs for all the different states, this is a really, really, really good place to start prospecting, especially if you're someone who's wanting to get on board with projects and stuff like that. I'll take you guys through. So firstly, I'll explain to you what the 7Ds are, which is taking us back to the patent that Paul has created. Alrighty, so Paul basically created a patent that scrapes council websites for the following information. We call these the 7Ds. So they're damage, death, debt, development, distance, divorce and marriages, as well as downsizing and upsizing. So we get access to birth, marriage and death records, bankruptcy, development applications, divorces, a whole heap of different information from council websites. My favourite would have to be the Queensland DAs. We have DAs for all of the different other states as well. So I would recommend, if you're looking to gain access to the Airtables, when you write in your email to support, you let them know if it's not already shown on your email. Say, for example, like my email is rihanna@qld.oxbridge.com.au. If your email doesn't have that, just let support know where you're from so that you get the right access to the right set of development approvals. So for example, here I've got the New South Wales DAs, I've got Queensland DAs, Greater Hume Council. I think that might be Victoria. But I'm going to take you guys through what we actually do with these DAs. So the DAs that we get, it's a massive range of different development applications. So it can be anything from someone who wants to put in a pool to someone who's actually building a whole set of townhouses. I went on here earlier just in search of an example for you guys today. And once it loads, I'll take you through the process of what we do. So the Queensland DAs basically tells us what's happening in each state, who's applying to do what kind of development. But the thing with these development applications is we don't always get the information we're looking for straight away. So there's a few tricks to actually finding that information. So I am in the Gold Coast DAs. And what I want to do is have a look for townhouses. So if we have a look for townhouses, it will bring up townhouse developments, because this is what we want. We don't want to sit and scroll through 34,000 records just to find someone who's building a house or someone who's building a townhouse. We can directly search that. So what I want to do is, when you're on the screen, this is a townhouse development here. You can come over here and expand the record. So that'll bring this up for you. It tells you the property address that they've put in this application for. So down here, they've got a townhouse development for 15 townhouses and a pool. And it is going to be at 7 Rutledge Street in Coolangatta. What we do next is we take that information and we want to go onto RP data. Because what we have to do is then find out who owns 7 Rutledge Street in Coolangatta. Most of the time when it's people doing developments and stuff like that, they won't put it directly under a personal name. They'll put it under a company name, which is why we come in here to have a look. So 7 Rutledge Street, Coolangatta.
But the developers, don't live at the property. They've bought it. They bought it to develop that.
Yeah, exactly that. So what we do is we want to find out who owns this. So as you can see here, it's brought up. Loading. All right, I do apologize. I'm having some trouble today. Alrighty, so if I put in 7 Rutledge Street in Coolangatta, it brings up a number of different addresses. So this is the one that I want here. This is 7 to 11 Rutledge Street, Coolangatta. You would expect a couple lots if it's going to be a townhouse development. So 7 to 11 makes the most sense. We click on this one and we scroll down and get to find out who owns it. So this one here is owned by Body Corporate for the Beach House Kira Community Title Scheme, care of Strata Care Australia Pty Ltd. So the company that actually owns it here is Strata Care Australia Pty Ltd. what we can do is we can actually do an online search for this company to find out more information about then who owns this company. What we do is we come to a website called ASIC. So it is asic.gov.au. If you look up ASIC company registers in Google, it should come up. You want to make sure you choose the government Australian one. And this is your home page. You scroll down and you want to select companies. This will bring you down to the companies section, and you want to do a search on ASIC Connect. That takes us to the ASIC Connect page. What you want to do is you want to do a search for an organization or business name, and we are looking for, let me go back, we're looking for Strata Care Australia Pty Ltd. So, Strata Care. So I've put in Strata Care Australia, and we've got one that's come up. They're based in Maroochydore, Queensland. Now this makes sense because the company that has purchased this is also in Queensland. So we want to click on that just to have a little bit of a look at it. Tells us when the company was registered, when it's next reviewed. What we can do is then purchase a current company extract. So the current company extract will tell you about who owns that property, as well as they will have a registered address. It could be their home address or their business address that they operate from. What I did today was I actually bought this one, and I will show you what I got. This is the current company extract that I bought for Strata Care Australia Pty Ltd. If we scroll down, we can see who the director is and the secretary. It is the same person in this case, James William O'Hare. And what I did was I had a look at his address here, which is Unit 347A Kawula Street in Barton. And I said to myself, well, that's where James lives. Let's go have a look. So I then proceeded to go back to RP data. I actually could not find, when I was looking for it the first time, this exact address. Now, RP data is really not liking us today, guys. I do apologize. So in short, what you want to do is then put in this address here that you are provided. When I did it the first time, I actually couldn't find Unit 3, so I put in just 47 Kawula Street. I do apologize. My computer's having a very, very bad day. So 47 Kawula Street in Barton. Now, some of you may know, RP data sometimes have phone records as well, which is why we like to take the owner's address and put it into ARPI data to see if there is a phone record here. Now, when I put in 47 Kawula Street, this is what came up. This is unit 3 here, and as you can see, J. O'Hare. So if we go back to our company extract, it is James William O'Hare that is the director. So that is where he is living. This one unfortunately didn't have a phone record, but we do know where he lives now. So if we wanted to go and sell the townhouses based in Coolangatta, we can go knock on his door and pay him a little visit. Now, I understand that is a very complex process. Obviously, you do have to pay for the company extract. It is $9, but you're walking in to this presentation with Oxbridge backing you as well. It's a great way to put yourself out there, get on projects, even if you don't want to go door knocking, maybe drop some brochures by or drop a letter by. It's just a great way to start prospecting, especially if you're someone that wants to get into the project sector of real estate. Does anyone have any general questions?
Or
about
is
that
SORE,
particular-
not SAW.
Oh, that sort of.
Does anyone have any questions?
From
about that?
sort of from.
Sorry, I just muted Adam. Does anyone have any questions about that general process? So that's just one of the things that you can do with Airtables. It's all relatively straightforward, as I explained. The other ones are obviously a lot more straightforward than the DAs. But you know, like that's just the beauty of it. You log in, you get your Excel spreadsheets, they get updated, and you just get to call people.
Sorry, Rihanna, could you show me the Great Hume Council? Just a quick scroll through. I just wanted to
Yeah,
say,
of
because I'm from
course.
Victoria.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
I've asked the Oxbridge support for the Victorian DAs, but I don't know, they haven't sent it to me for a couple of weeks. But if there is one,
Yep, so this is the Greater Hume
Yeah.
Council. And these are all of their development applications.
Yep.
So you can expand all of these as well, and it will tell you like what's happening. So this one's a construction certificate for a new shed. I'll see if we can find any in here that are, say, for example, units. Okay, construction certificate. Let's expand this one. Okay, that's storage sheds and units. What I would recommend as well is if you're looking to get into developments, possibly look at getting a mutual recognition in other states as well for your real estate license. It can be really, really beneficial if you're looking to sell interstate. This one here.
how would you take the buyers through if it's interstate? Well, what's the best process?
Obviously you can always conjunct with someone in that state, or for example, like Oxbridge at the moment has a lot of projects that are currently up and running. Say for example, like we have Chevron 1 in Queensland. If you have buyers, like interstate buyers, what you can do is you can always get like someone such as myself. So I'm the lead on that project. I can go through the display room, do a virtual tour with buyers as well. That's always one way that you can do it. If you say you're working on a project, you've got buyers in Queensland, the project's in Queensland, Some of our projects also have internal salespeople that are more than happy to take those buyers through themselves as well.
Awesome.
So sorry, just as a matter of interest, and this is a question to do with projects, just because the gentleman that just spoke brought up projects. So if I got a project here in South Australia, because I find that there's when I was a buyer's agent, there's an awful lot of people from Melbourne and Sydney, just due to price points and things, wanting to buy in Adelaide and Brisbane, and most of my buyers were sort of from Sydney or Melbourne, because as I said, it's cheaper here. So they're buying investment properties and stuff. But so if I got a project here in Adelaide and I got it onto the Oxbridge platform, and another agent sold it, even though I listed it, would I get a 20% referral fee? Which is, I don't know what other states work on, but in South Australia, we work in real estate on a 20% referral fee if somebody sells your own listing. Do we get a referral fee for bringing the listing to the table?
Yeah, so you're talking about if you bring, say, an entire project.
Yeah, and someone sells one of the units, do I get a referral fee?
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, like, you can negotiate that with Oxbridge as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. Does anyone else?
I have a question on projects. So let's say there are some projects in Victoria and we are trying to develop our own brand.
Yeah.
Are we allowed, or is it okay for us to advertise these projects in our website, or is it only in Oxbridge website? It's just having one more platform for you to market and advertise yourself. You're probably, it's advantageous for you, but then is it all right to do that, or it's not okay, or, it's just a question I thought I'd.
Yeah, no, that's all right. If, like, say, are you referring to, say, if you bring a project on board, or if Oxbridge has one and you jump on board that?
Yeah, so maybe we don't have anything with that project, but it's Oxbridge's project. Can we advertise it in our website is what I'm asking, just to.
So it definitely depends on the project and what type of content that you're looking to put out there. Some developers prefer like no marketing, or like you can do generic marketing. So for example, we have projects here in Queensland. We have agents that have jumped on board. They're looking to build up their own name. So they've got their own Facebook profiles and everything like that. And they do their own marketing videos. Yeah. And it's just generally like really generic. So, are you looking for a house in Queensland, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom?
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, like that sort of stuff. And that is more than 100% okay. Obviously, what we do with those is we just get them to run their ads by us first, so we know what's happening, what they're putting out there to the general public.
Okay.
Yeah.
So us as support, we just send it through to support, or is there a separate team that takes care of those sort of emails?
Yeah, so you can just send that through to support because they will know who's looking after each project for each state. Because our projects generally have different points of contact.
All right, okay, I get it. Thank you.
No, that's all right. Can I answer any other questions?
Sorry, I had a similar question. If you wanted like to co-brand your own brand, obviously you have to advertise Oxbridge with it. Would you have to pay for your own like realestate.com account and your own Oxbridge? Your own CoreLogic, like your own softwares, if you were to open up your own brand?
That would be a really, really good question for someone like Paul or support. Yeah, we just had the open forum before this training, so it probably would have been a great question for them. I'm personally not too sure about that. I, as an agent, just work under the Oxbridge logo. I know that we do have people that come in and they bring their entire office in. And so what they do with their like realestate.com accounts and stuff like that is they have for their logos, it's half Oxbridge and half their account. So or their real estate, and they don't have to pay, they obviously just pay the full member fee to Oxbridge and they co-brand like that. I think if you were to go out on your own and move away from Oxbridge, then obviously like you have to make sure you've got all of the relevant things such as trust accounts, public liability, and you probably would likely have to, I think it really depends on like how, there's different ways that you can move away from the brand as well.
Yeah, I'll email. I'll maybe give Paul a call or email support and ask him, because I wanted to open up like my own realestate.com account. But obviously with Oxbridge, because the logos have to be the same size and stuff.
Yeah.
But if I'd have to pay for it myself, then I'll obviously call up realestate.com. But it would obviously be preferable if Oxbridge would pay for it. But we'll see, because you guys charged $120 a listing, which is pretty affordable compared to having to pay your own $1,000 for each listing or something.
Well, I'm sure that there would be something that they could organise if you're a full member.
Yeah, I'm a full member.
Yeah. Look, I'm sure there would be something that they could organise to help you out in that regards.
All right, thank you.
That's a good. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah. So I forgot your name.
That's so good. My name's Rihanna.
Rihanna. Yeah, Rihanna. Just one thing with the going back to the DAs.
Yeah.
Just something I'm a little bit concerned about with regards to being able to utilise that information is with the development approvals. They're normally lodged through the land surveyor, when I'm talking about when they're getting approvals to subdivide and all that, to build multi-dwellings and things, or it's through a someone, or sometimes the builder, if they've already got the builder and things. So so just being able to I guess find those find the records of the actual owner, because 90% of the time they actually lodge it through the surveyors and things like that, and the surveyors don't readily give out, because of privacy and stuff. They don't want to give out who their client is. They just basically tell you to piss off.
Yeah, look, of course, I completely understand that, and obviously the DAs, they can be like a bit of hit and miss, but everything's a little bit of a risk in real estate. It is what it is.
Yeah, and we've got a lot stauncher privacy policies like than in a lot of states. So like on through RP data, core logic, through the professional or whatever in South Australia. Unfortunately for us, there's no phone numbers there. You can't get the owner's phone number, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course.
Which is a bit of a bugger.
Yeah, I know. I think even in Queensland as well, through RP data and stuff like that, there is a lot of people on the do not call registers, and as well as just like not a lot of phone records on there in general. But like we do have agents that do this. We had a agent that joined us from the States, and actually I did a lot of these ASIC searches for them, and they went and individually door knocked every single one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, it's always something to do.
Yeah. Well, if as you said, if it's owned by a company, well then you can do a company search, and but if it's not owned by a company, if it's a private individual, I mean, you can go on I guess the white pages online and try and find them, but yeah.
Well, look, like even if it's owned by a private individual, say you got the record and
Yeah.
it was owned by a private individual, and that private individual doesn't live at that lot, you can actually just do, so for example, James William O'Hare here, you
Yeah.
can click on their name and it will bring up all of the different properties that they own. When it comes to developers, it's really not having a good time today. When it comes to developers and stuff like that, we've found in some cases it is owned by people.
Yeah.
And if you just do a search on the actual person, it'll come up with multiple properties that they own, and generally it's, you know, the biggest property, like they might own multiple units or something like that, and then they might have a house, and then usually the house, and that's where they
Yeah.
Sorry, Anna, just one last question.
Yeah.
Do you have access to divorces, downsizing, upsizing, distance, damage? Do you have access to these ones also?
Yeah, I know I have access to deaths.
Yeah, because I emailed like support a week ago asking them if we did have access, but they didn't get back to me just for the rest of the 7 days, because they gave us half, but I was wondering like divorces, the downsizing, upsizing it, because they're really good ones, because if people are, you know, obviously getting bigger houses, smaller houses, they're the main people that want to sell.
Yeah, no,
And
of course.
distance is really good too. If you know the owners are overseas, they're always looking to sell their properties, and they're usually easier to sell because they're not here bugging you. But I don't know. I don't have access to them. Just the ones that you have, the same ones, either for sale by owner, flatmates. But I was wondering if we did have access to the other ones, or you've had or seen them.
I personally haven't seen them, but I know that we would have them in there. Do you have access to the DAs as well as the death?
I don't have access to DAs. I asked for them, but I don't think there is in Victoria the DAs. Maybe that's what I was because I've seen, you know, you got the Queensland one, New South Wales, even the Great Hume. So I think it was only New South Wales properties, but I don't think there's maybe a Victorian one potentially. I'd have to ask Paul maybe. Yeah.
Is Victoria not the Greater Hume Council?
Yeah, there's a council called the Hume. It's like in the northern suburbs, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. It's not called the actual Greater Hume Council. I wouldn't think. Probably Vic DAs if it was a link, maybe.
Yeah. All right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, look, I can definitely talk to Paul and see about that. I've got deaths and debt as well. These are ones I don't necessarily tend to use. But they are ones that you can definitely use. Obviously when dealing with deaths and debt, you need to be a little bit more sensitive though. So with the ones for deaths, I believe it gives us a name, and what you can do is do the name search in RP data to see if they have any properties under their name. But it's a very long process because these are ones that you can't exactly filter out, which makes them a little bit harder to use.
Usually, like any lead is good, you know, to find first initial contact. Even CoreLogic, if you use CoreLogic just by itself, like when I first started in real estate, we just used to use CoreLogic, and you can find a lot of leads if you just search up like addresses or street names. You can go through and contact them individually. But usually, there's a lot of sometimes a lot of, you know, waste of timers, you know, people that are renting or so forth. But you can find a lot of leads, just by CoreLogic.
Yeah, no, CoreLogic's definitely a good one. One of the things that we also use that for is Google Mapping. I'll have to do a separate session on that as well.
Yeah, I watched your YouTube video on that. That was really good.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that someone has made use of the resources page. So yeah, you've got the deaths, and these just have all of the names. The issue with this one is that they don't have the suburb. When you're doing searches in ARPI data, I believe if you do a name search, you have to have the suburb as well, which can make it hard.
I think with some of those, Rihanna, I think they passed away like about 15 or so years ago. So
Yeah.
they're probably a bit old.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, Rihanna, just a quick question.
Yeah, of course.
With the Airtables, are we able to like copy and paste some of the data from some of those bases that are there and just create our own little kind of list? You know what I mean? So that we can kind of
Excel,
keep track.
transfer to Excel. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that how you do it? Just transfer to Excel. There's nothing
I'm not
inside
sure.
the table.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
yeah.
either.
You can.
You know what I'm asking though, eh? So we
Yeah.
can kind of like finalize. I mean, you know what I mean? Like centralize all the findings. So we're not having to go back and open every single page. We can just put it into one big sort of thing.
Yeah.
But or do we have to get permissions for all of that?
No, you can. You can actually. I believe you can actually download these. I'm not too sure.
Like, say for instance, we've gone through it that way, and then we've just shortlisted, I guess,
Yeah,
like real live ones, you know?
Yeah, you can download a CSV.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the other ones that I've got access to as well is debt.
Do you prefer the DAs over the Salva owners?
Look, the DAs are good. It really just depends on like what you want to get into. For sale by owners, obviously probably a little bit easier because it's just the standard residential property. You don't have to go through all of the extra work to, find the lead and then potentially not get it. So the debt ones are here as well. These can be useful because you can do ARPI data searches for companies and see if they own any properties. Obviously, you would have to also do the ASIC search just to find their direct contact details if they do end up owning properties. But it is also like a long process because you could put in 20 company names and none of them will own the properties. So it's really just about what you want to dedicate your time to doing.
If you were to download that you press that little setting button to download everything, or grid view? You press grid view.
Yeah, grid view.
And then it comes up download CSV. But does it download the whole 60,000?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a massive list. And then you can cut it out, I guess.
Yeah, it is an absolutely massive list that will come up. Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan, just another question. I know like Paul does, the finance referrals and stuff like that. Do we have access to the finance numbers that Oxbridge employees use? Like, all the people that have attempted to get loans or about to get a loan. Do we have access to their numbers and stuff so we can call them? Because usually they're either looking to buy or sell.
Yeah, so Paul would have access to a lot of that, and I'm sure if people were looking to utilize those numbers, that he'd be more than happy to share those.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good. Can I help anyone else? Are there any other questions?
Sorry, what were the phone numbers for? What was that? Sorry, with what group of people was that for?
So he was asking if we have access to the phone numbers for people that are looking for finance.
Oh, I understand. Yep. Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
because we've also got the finance sector.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is that everything for today, guys?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You've been great.
That is.
Thank you, Rhiannon.
If you need anything else,
Thank you.
please feel free to message me. It's all a little bit more straightforward once you gain access. Obviously, for sale by owners, you just give them a call. For rent by owners, same thing. And then the DAs, you just do your searches to find the
Company.
the company, and then the address of the directors for the company.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
That is okay. Thanks for attending today, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to head off now.
Bye-bye.
Oh.